Okay, so we're back on now, and we've drawn our first set of steps. And again, as we look in the 3D view, this is approximately what we should have. So let's move on to the next portion. Okay, let's draw a ramp. But instead of drawing a ramp, what I have in this for you is a floor. Because if we drew a ramp, right, we could draw a boundary, right? If we drew a boundary, we could go to street to level one. So if I drew a boundary for a ramp and I simply drew it to here and then drew it from here to here and then from here to here, all right? I drew something like that and I finished it. It says they must be connected by two riser lines, right? So what if I went in here and drew my boundary of my ramp over this? And again, this isn't what we're going to do, people, right? But what if I drew a riser maybe here and then drew a riser here for my ramp, all right? It's going to draw something approximately like this. And I've got a railing on one side and a railing on the other. I could go about doing it that way if I wanted to, but I want to try something a little different today. Okay, let's go back to this street level and let's look at another option that we have here. Let's use a floor, and I'm going to go floor architectural, and this floor generic 6 should pop right up for you, right? And I say I want to draw this floor at the street level right now, and that's going to be fine. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click on the line function, and I'm going to say let's draw our floor from here to here, right? And then I'm going to draw that same floor. I'm going to come over and click here, then I'm going to click here, and I'm going to come here, and then I'm going to go to the top and make sure you get it on top of that riser right there. And then I'm going to come all the way over and I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to come back here, and then I'm going to come all the way back down this line to here, right? Then before I finish it, right, if I was to just finish it, watch this. I finish it and this would just simply be, right, a floor. And it would be at the street level. But I'm going to do something now that's going to help me with this. I'm going to use something new. Perhaps you haven't used this function yet. I'm going to sit here, tab, I'm going to grab my floor, and I'm going to say edit boundary, and now I'm going to use what's called a slope arrow. Now a slope arrow is a nice tool because you can use it on floors, you can use it on roofs to slope a roof in an odd direction. So you don't always have to put a slope formula in. You can just simply use this slope arrow and say I want from this lower corner here to this upper corner here. And as I come back over to the properties box, I say I want the level at the tail or at the bottom of the arrow to be at what datum? The street. Then I want to put the height offset at 0. And then the level at the head I want to be at landing 1. It goes into apply. I hit finish mode, and now when I look at it in 3D, you can see that my ramp slash floor is sloping upward here. But you can see we have a bit of a problem, can't you? It's sloping up further beyond what? Beyond the steps here, and we wouldn't want that to happen. So how can we remedy that? Let's go back to the street. Okay, now I can go back in, select this, and say edit boundary. And I can say maybe, just maybe, I want that boundary line to be what? To be somewhere around here, right? And if I pull this back, and if I put it to approximately the middle of there, and then I can trim here, and trim here, and then delete here, and delete here, maybe this might be a better use of that. And when I go back in, again, look, I'm sitting up above that step there. I'm going to pause the video. We'll talk about something. Resume. So we discussed that we're going to have a few little niggling problems where we have a place where this ramp is going to be over. We're going to put railings on this ramp anyway, or this floor slash ramp. So we're going to come back and work on these problems piece by piece as we go through this. So let's go back to our street level. Let's go ahead and put in the rest of our landing right here, right now. So I'm just going to draw a floor, right? So I'm going to go back here and say floor, and I'm going to go floor architectural, and I'm going to be in that 6-inch, but I'm going to now be at landing 1. And while I'm at landing 1, now I can come in here and draw this boundary from here, where the other floor stops, to here, and I'm going to draw this from there to here, to here, to here, and I'm going to come back to that spot and finish. And now when I go to my 3D view, you see at the top of that ramp, that's meeting that, almost like another stair, right, where it's at the top. But what we have to be careful at is that we don't make it so that this particular one isn't meeting this. Watch what happens when I go to a south elevation. We're going to see that we have, if we go to SD, we see I have that little gap in there. So it might be wise on our parts to say, hey, what if we took this floor here, right, and this floor here? What if we made them 7 inches? We could possibly do that. That would get us closer to where we want to be. So if I went in here and said edit type and said duplicate this floor and make this a 7-inch to match our steps, and then I went in here and did the same thing. Now keep in mind, we haven't even talked about materials yet. We won't do that till the end. Right now, that kind of mates up a little better, and it's almost like it's a full step. Now there still are some little problems here, and the problem is, people, where we have the slope arrow, and we're going to talk about where we locate that slope arrow too, because if you remember, that slope arrow is what? It's pushed to the middle. What if we pushed it to the lower end? Right, we'll see what happens when we do that. What if we were to take that and drag that to that corner? And you see that matches up a little better, doesn't it? But then again, once we do that, we have a little bit of a problem on that end. Again, little things we're not going to worry too much about right now. We're conceptualizing. That's what's most important. If we were building this and using construction documents, we would do this a little differently. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, allow you to kind of get caught up to this point, and then we'll move on to the next. I have spoken.